Sometimes I just wonder if 343 is really starting to get it, or if they're just completely not getting it. They recently did a developer update back in January saying that they were going to change the progression so that there'd be increased XP cap, more XP for team play, challenges were going to be added, and that you can choose the unlocks the way you want to, and overall faster progression, as well as increasing the XP you get a match 150%. And you think, oh great, so they're starting to finally get it. And then supposedly some people that got, that are more exclusive Halo insiders that got even earlier access to play some of the newer stuff, including the season passes that will be coming, say that the season passes coming up will be 175 million XP to reach the max rank, which is more than that of Halo 5's 152. And just to get you an idea of that, getting max rank in Halo Reach MCC took 11 million XP. And then they wonder why there's so much boosting going on. You know how a fire extinguisher instructs you to aim at the base of a fire rather than the flames, because firing at the flames doesn't resolve the issue. The flames is just the effect, the outcome of the problem, whereas the base, the flammable substance feeding the fire, is the cause of the problem. If you neutralize the cause, the effects go away, but if you just go for the effect but not the cause, the problem isn't going to get resolved. Though there's a simple instructions on how to use a fire extinguisher to put out a fire, this is applied to simple problem solving and why certain problems don't get resolved because they are just addressing the effect and not the cause. Now you might be asking yourself, why the hell am I bringing up a fire extinguisher with this whole controversy with boosting and Halo MCC progression controversy? And that is that the boosting problem in Halo MCC, that some people act completely shocked and go, oh my god, we did not see this coming, how could this have happened? Even though if they have watched my videos, I would have told them that I predicted this, that a lazy, quick progression system that you just grind. It's like really quick to make, really lazy. You just play the game and you get XP, and it's like a participation award. And then all you have to do is just simply play. Is going to be easily exploitable, and people were going to boost it because of the fact they made it super grindy. So it was undoubtedly going to happen, and that was a problem that I foresaw in several of my videos that I mentioned. Yet people somehow act like, oh my god, this is going to ruin Halo. Which is kind of funny, because if boosting was going to ruin Halo, Halo would have been ruined all the way back in Halo 2, because boosting has been around for that long. The only thing that has changed is how much boosting has been happening. But the problem is it keeps happening over and over, and it's like as if the developers are never getting it, and all they do is keep putting a band-aid over it, and they're just temporarily fixing it, and only keeping like people satisfied momentarily, but never actually fixing the problem, because a permanent solution actually requires putting in more work than putting up a security theater, and only the easily deceived will be like, oh, 343 isn't addressing it because they're making more banhammers, so that means that they're really solving the problem. And yet still, how many months has Reach been out by the time this video comes out? 3 months, 4 months, and yet still the problem hasn't been fixed. You know what happened with Bungie in the same amount of time, in 4 months, when they couldn't solve the boosting problem either? They eventually gave in. I'll go into that further in this video, but overall, the problem is not getting resolved because neither Bungie nor 343 ever addressed these problems when in any of their games, and that's why boosting has always been such a problem in so many of them. It's also sad to think that there are people out there that are both justifying it and other people out there saying, oh, as long as I keep reporting people, that'll fix the problem, and just want to ignore the fact that there's no real solution. They just think if you keep making a stricter banhammer that it's going to somehow magically solve the problems that are going on. And I'm going to tell you right now, do not act surprised when the next bunch of seasons come out with that much XP. Do not be surprised, go, oh my god, boosting's back again, because it's obviously expected at this point with that much XP required to unlock everything in the game. But again, I did call this out in my videos that I did controversies over the progression ranking system and progressive ranking systems in general, and leaking armors to the progressive system, as well as several Halo news videos I did. Then I called those things out, and it's just funny that people still act surprised by it. When you set up a system that's easy to create for a progression ranking system that is lazily added in, where all you have to do is just get XP to unlock things, it's easily exploitable, and just making it grindier is just going to encourage more people to boost, especially when the fact that they crunch the numbers down of it'll take about 2,000 matches to be able to complete the entire all the seasons, and the problem is you will not be able to do that before Halo Infinite comes out. So unless you're a grinder who can play 8 hours or more a day, or you can boost, which again illegitimately, you're gonna never be able to complete it before the Halo Infinite comes out. I did talk about some possible solutions in fixing the progression system, some things that they could do to make it better, some alternative solutions, as well as, and also there are more long-time solutions. And also, I'll probably briefly talk about some other things that they could do, at least for Halo Infinite. I don't know what they can do for Halo MCC, because they said that at this point they're not looking at changing the entire progression system that they just implemented, because of course it's going to take a whole bunch more work to do that, and it would take away from adding all the other games to the PC and other things like the custom game browser, which I really want. But yeah, I got in some heated debates over some people on Twitter about this, because they go, oh no, you need to have long grindy progression systems because that's what keeps people playing. If that's true, then where the hell did the Halo population go? It all of a sudden was really high and then just dipped out. Even during double XP, it started dipping, which means that in reality, that no, the population isn't kept by a progression system. There's other quality of life things that are going to keep people playing than just a lengthy, long progression system. If that worked, Halo 5 would still be popular right now, but it's not. So making another system just as grindy is not going to fix the problem. And some people are actually even accusing me of being a booster or supporting boosters, all because I made fun of the people snitching, reporting everyone that was reporting people in Discord chats and making their own Discord, oh, we're the Halo police, we're coming after you kind of thing, and putting names on there. I made fun of it because it's literally taking a garden hose to a forest fire and thinking that you're going to fix the problem. You're not doing anything at all. All you're doing is causing problems, because this vigilante justice thing, people were putting random names in there, and some people that wanted to get revenge on other people just threw their name on the list of these Discord groups, trying to get them banned. I'm not sure if they really did succeed or not, but the fact of the matter is that throwing people's names on a list with no proof does not actually prove whether or not they're boosting, and all it did was cause problems. And some people did report that they did get banned, because the problem is that when they did hand out all these bans for the double XP and everything, and they're still banning people because they still haven't fixed the problem, but when they were banning a whole bunch of people during that first round bans, they accidentally banned the wrong people, and several people complained about this, and now for the first time ever, they've never done this before with any Halo game when they ban people, even Halo 5 when they really messed up on accidentally banning people because of their laggy servers that were kicking people out and mistaking them as quitting when in fact it was their servers dropping. But because people were accidentally getting banned, they actually have a thing now. You can submit your complaints if you accidentally were banned. First time ever they've been doing that, because they were just banning so many people. And yeah, it's not just Bungie or 343. Bungie has done this too. They've accidentally banned wrong people too because of bad algorithms. The problem is just overall, it's not fixing the problem. And if there's anyone out there that believes that 343 can never make a mistake making a banhammer, where were you at Halo MCC launch? Just giving you an idea that no, every company can make bad banhammers that accidentally ban wrong people. And the fact of the matter is saying, oh, well, it's okay if they ban a few legitimate players, as long as they're getting the bad ones. No, because if you're banning people that didn't do anything wrong, you're ruining their experience, and then most likely they're not going to want to play the game anymore if they're going to get accidentally banned, because either you got people that want to like, oh, hey, I'm going to get you banned because I didn't like you. Some of these people were actually boosters themselves that were reporting legitimate players. What they would do is they would go on a match and do that sword lining crap, and then when they did that, if anyone didn't participate to help, what they were doing was they would end up putting them on the list. And so getting them banned. And also because how 343 was banning some people, they were looking at entire lobbies or entire matches that were boosting and banning people, even if one or two people weren't actually participating. So what would happen is if you quit, you end up getting banned for temporarily for quitting, or you get banned for staying in the match. And either way, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't, getting punished for something you didn't do. You didn't intend to join a match to boost, and yet try and say, oh, well, it's okay, it's only for 10 minutes. Not everyone has 10 minutes to wait. I rather, 2 minutes of this boosting crap and it's over, and then I can play another match, which is also why I stopped playing Griffball. I rather just play SWAT or something than play Griffball, because of the fact that all that sword lining crap still exists. And they just, the thing is with these boosting things, when I think they're solving it by making the banhammers harsher, all they're doing is just making the people more creative. All you have to do is simply make it so that if you don't earn any points, you don't get any kills, you don't get any points, you don't get any assists, nothing. That what it does is it takes you at the back of the match. If you did nothing that match, participation for just being in the match won't get you anything. It'll kick you out of the match at the end of it, and you have to research. So if you're just doing that AFK boosting thing where you just hold the trigger down and hold the stick down and just spin in a circle, it's gonna kick you out because you are just spinning around in circles, and because you're AFK and you get taken out and you have to go search again, you're not gonna notice it. Also, another way to fix it would be look for repeated movements. If someone's using that keyboard mouse macro thing to try and make it so that they look like they keep moving, even controllers, I guess you can do this too. What they can do is just simply do the same thing. Look for patterns and then again kick them out. That's how you solve that problem. As for the partial party boosting, you're just gonna have to try your best to enforce it. But unfortunately, just like 343, Bungie, they never fixed the problem either in Legacy Reach with that. They tried their best to ban it. Eventually, they caved in and said, if it's full party boosting, we'll allow it. And if you don't believe me, I'll even link their own posts where they actually said that Bungie gave up after 4 months of trying to stop boosters and said that as long as you're doing full party boosting, we don't care. But if you're doing partial party boosting, you're still ruining people's experience because at least one or two others are not participating, and so it's ruining their experience. Even though 343 is even full party boosting is not being allowed, they're going to eventually give up on that. Bungie? They only were going to be around for Reach partially halfway. They didn't even stay as long before they moved on. It was like a year or two in from Halo Reach. They moved on to make Destiny and moved away from Microsoft. So they didn't really care as much. So 343, probably they're going to try and push it out for 8 months at least. But eventually they're going to give up and just say, we don't care anymore. We got Infinite coming out. So if you guys want to do full party boosting, just go ahead. I guarantee it'll happen. They won't probably put a notice out like Bungie did where they make themselves clear, but they're probably just not going to care. They're just going to be like, forget about it. We can't stop them all. At least they tried to make lobbies where you can't bring a full team in, but there's still ways you can manipulate it to get full parties in there. It's just sad that even after a decade, they still haven't figured out. They've been doing the same pattern of just be strict on the banhammer, more strict banhammer, and that you think it's going to solve the problem, and it just doesn't. It's just a temporary fix for the current banhammers, but for the current boosters. But then more people are just going to end up boosting. Yet some people are totally, deceived by that and going, oh, they're making the banhammer harsher or even more strict, so they're really solving the problem. That's just being shills. If you really believe that and you think that's going to solve the problem and that 343 has never mistakenly banned someone by human error with their programming, all I can really say at that point is, well, what flavor of Kool-Aid is 343 giving you? Because if you believe that they've never made a mistake, you're just delusional. And it's funny because Bungie did the same exact thing. They tried to be as strict as they could for months until they got to 4 months in about when the game came out, and they just said, we can't do it anymore, you guys. You can't keep watching them every single month trying to take in manually ban more people. So eventually what ended up happening is they eventually just said, if you're full party boosting, we'll allow it. And that's what's going to happen because they don't have people that can sit there every day watching every match. They have to move on to other games, other projects. Besides Halo Infinite, there's several other side Halo games that are being worked on. They're eventually not going to just have people just sit there and watch Halo MCC for an entire year banning people. It's just not going to be practical. It's not worth their time. And again, it's sad that all this boosting has been going around in Halo for over a decade with these progression systems. They still have not figured it out. I am genuinely surprised that 343 has not learned from its experience when it took over the Halo franchise. 343 is huge versus Battlefront 2 with DICE back in 2017. They were able to resolve the boosting problem in their own game without even having to use a banhammer and had a smaller team, which shows DICE learns faster than 343 at fixing these kind of issues. Bungie learned the hard way back in Legacy Reach and gave up after 4 months of non-stop boosting and caved into the boosters and just said, if you're partial party boosting or idle boosting, that's not allowed, but full party boosting will allow it. Imagine the devs stopping boosting because their bad system was so easily exploitable that it was mind-numbing grind fest that boosting still was occurring so drastically that it didn't start reducing until they came out with custom challenges and people just went into campaign on I think it was Oni Sword base and did that target locator glitch with a rubber band and then just boosted their accounts all the way to Inheritor. But hell, Halo Reach wasn't even the first game to have boosting problems back in its day. It was just probably the first one to have major problems. Legacy Halo Reach was probably where you found most people trying to boost to get to the max rank as well, which is funny, just like Halo MCC Reach, which it's funny because the first people right now to get max rank in the first season in MCC are all boosters. Surprise, surprise. And people act like boosting is like the end of the world and it'll ruin Halo, but if that were true again, Halo 2 would have been the end of Halo. And again, am I really justifying boosting? No, I'm just really explaining why boosting exists and that in reality it's dumb, but the fact that people are going to keep ignoring history and keep repeating the same thing, like complete insanity, trying to do the same thing over and over and expecting a different result, is just dumb. Again, it's like they just keep repeating the same thing thinking, oh, it'll work this time. No, it won't. It didn't work last 3 times, so it's not going to work this time. The only thing I can agree with you is that boosting has been on the rise and it keeps increasing more and more as developers of not just Halo but every other game keep making Skinner box grindfest games that are only designed for either grinders or boosters or people that pay. And what they do is they end up with a situation where they influence boosters because of like cosmetics that like armors in Halo that people really want, especially in microtransaction games. This is a common thing. They create their own problem. What they do is they take a long lengthy grindy progression system and they stretch it 3 to 5 times longer than it's supposed to be from where it feels right, so that what they do is they incentivize people to pay up, or they're gonna have to boost, or what some people end up doing, illegitimately finding methods of increasing XP without playing the game normally. And basically they create their own problem. As long as you keep making a game where all you have to do is earn X amount of points in order to afford cosmetic, it's going to keep continuing. There's better ways out there to make better cosmetics, but instead they want to make the easiest cosmetic system so that it's easily exploitable. Just because it caters to a small group of people, the grinders, the boosters, and the people that pay for microtransactions or whale gamers. I mean, sadly, it's just like I just keep watching this. It's like 343 is handling the boosting problem in the worst way and literally just repeating what Bungie did with Classic Reach. And it didn't work then, and it didn't work now. And the funny thing is, in both situations, the population ended up dying off. But let's start getting into what is boosting. Let's start off with like talking about that. For those that have been living under a rock their entire time or are new to gaming with Halo and don't know what boosting is the illegitimate means of gaining rewards such as achievements, EXP or XP, medals, ranks, levels, commendations, challenges, unlocks, increasing your KD or win-loss, anything like that to increase, or stat boosting, what they call it, to easily get up higher and so on, so that they can easily avoid playing the game normally. Basically just another form of cheating, just with some extra steps. But the history of boosting in Halo games goes as far back as Halo 2. There wasn't really any boosting I could even think of for Halo CE, even when I tried to research this, because there was no matchmaking. Even on PC, when you used a server browser, you just joined open lobbies. There was no need to gain anything. You just played and had fun, and that's the enjoyment of the game, of the endless amount of replayability with the campaign, multiplayer, and even the mods that people created for fun. There was no artificial thing that you needed to gain playing to enjoy the game. It was just pure enjoyment of the game existing. Then Halo 2 came around, and the developers introduced a skill-based leveling system that could let you level up and down. You went up and down depending on matches you won and a whole bunch of other factors. And the max rank was level 50. This was designed to match people based on skill to make competitive matchmaking more balanced, which was a good design. Problem was with it, unfortunately, even though Bungie wanted to make this make the last couple ranks more unique by making them give little symbols and everything, unfortunately it attracted some people that want to do some unsportsmanlike conduct behaviors, such as modding the game and giving themselves the max rank, or do what was called back in the day circle boosting, which is kind of like sword boosting today, but we'll go into that a little bit later in the video. With each other matching up with each other, getting kills and lines and so forth, and using mics to communicate, and either they would just boost their ranks up by telling people like, hey, you want to boost, or they manipulated the settings so that they would line up with each other by choosing a different area that they were from and messing with IPs if they were on PC, a bunch of other things they did back then. Not many people did this though, and or knew about this rank manipulation boosting thing, so it wasn't something very common. Hell, there's not even video of this anymore. Chance of getting caught on doing something like this back in the Halo 2 Classic Legacy days was very low. Like, unless someone else in the party decided to report you, you otherwise did not get caught doing this. So Halo 2 rank boosting was very low, and Halo 2 achievement boosting, but that one was a little bit different. On Halo 2 on Xbox, it didn't have achievements, but the PC version, the Halo 2 Vista, did. There weren't many achievements, but they did exist, and completionists wanted to get all the achievements done, and even some were willing to do it through illegitimate methods. This became a more common problem to see later on as matchmaking became harder to do, so people would coordinate and boost achievements and be able to easier line up with each other. With a low population, it was easier to match up, and so you could get the achievements done quicker. Bungie did supposedly ban people in Halo 2, but it was rare, and when they did ban them, it was more for hacking, and you had to have manual proof, so it was painstakingly taking longer, because it's not as easy to make a video back then as it was today. And in the end, when it came to the ranking part, though, Bungie even reset everyone's rank back in Halo 2, boosting or not, just to address the problem. But again, that was like way back. They boosted when they boosted up the ranks. They're like, yeah, we got our 50. We're never gonna play matchmaking again. And then they reset the ranks, and it was like that was the last time they ever bothered with it for the rest of the time being. Then Halo 3 came in, and boosting went to a whole new level. All the methods I stated before increased with the continuation of the level 1 through 50 system. With that ranking system, it was easier to rank up now, and also with customization, armors linked to some of the achievements, there was some of that. Because so many wanted all the armor, it was common, especially in Lone Wolves, to find all types of boosters. Some people would go on mics and just say the word boost, and even put it in their tags and let people know that they were boosting. Achievements in their armor, or achievements to get armor unlocks and and ranking up and so forth, were a common thing that people would do, and even skilled players that played sweaty would even also play Lone Wolves for other agendas too, and try to get their accounts boosted up to level 50, and then sell them to little jimmies who didn't earn it and would never play the game again, and just play custom games and brag about their level 50 that they got. And people used to put on their file share, how much did your 50 cost, because that's literally what would happen, especially if you heard a little squeaker talk about his level 50. We all knew that he didn't earn it. And so even if you try to say, hey, let's 1v1 on Guardian, they'd be like, no, I'm too good for you. If you're not on my level of 50, then I can't verse you, or something like that. They would intentionally do that. And then some guy, I remember one time going, oh, I'm a 50, hey, you want to verse 1v1? And then they fucking back out. Oh man, dude, people used to buy their ranks because there was people that were really good at the game, and they would only play Lone Wolves, and they would have like accounts, like 10, 20 accounts they would boost a day. or not a day, but they would boost like over the months and then sell them for like $50 to $100, and people would actually buy this stuff back then. And it was really annoying. That's why they ended up never bringing it back in Halo Reach, because the level 50 system was just so abused and people were selling accounts. And technically back then, selling level 50 accounts wasn't considered cheating or any problem like that, using Smurf accounts, but that's no longer a thing. That's one thing at least 343 improved on, by realizing that no, using alternative accounts to rank up does negatively affect new players trying to join the game, and they finally recognized that people that use Smurf accounts will not be allowed and will actually get their accounts banned. A few people did get their accounts banned when they did stuff like that, because they would not be allowed to play, because it was just not fun playing against a sweaty. So yeah, I hear some YouTubers still do that, and it's like, dude, really, you're really ruining the ranking for everyone else. I get that it sucks that the population's died off and it's hard to find matches as the higher you get level up, but it's not fun when new players are trying to come in the game and play and you're using a account that's like level 1 but you yourself are level 50. It's not fair. It's not fun for them because they're having to verse someone who's a sweaty, and so that's why it was prone to abuse in Halo 3. There were still people that did some achievement boosting as well, like trying to get the 2-for-1s, but there was also, I think, like the Vidmaster achievements people were trying to get, but that took a little more time and effort to get to, and you still had to use someone that was really good at the game to help you get those achievements. But the next time that we see boosting is not long after when Halo Wars comes out, and people took advantage of the low population in the RTS game to help boost their accounts to get to the general rank. Best method people mostly did was a 1v1 searched in a time when population was low, or changed your region in the settings so that you would match with each other. Most people said on average that 9 out of 10 times this would work when they were telling other people on the forums, and that they would use the map Release to play on because of the fact that you could kill the flood and boost your points in kills. And people would do that. They would just both sides just not fight each other, and instead they would just park their vehicles and everything at the spawn location, and then just make tons and tons of vehicles and just spawn kill the flood to boost their ranks up quicker and get up faster. And it was people would do this a lot. Both players could do this and run the match the max amount of time, and also do some achievements on the side while doing that. From my knowledge, no one ever got caught or banned because of this, because the company that made this game actually went under, and so full party boosting with no anti-cheat measures, there was basically no way of getting caught from my knowledge. Halo ODST didn't have really any boosting methods because there was no matchmaking, and the achievements are campaign to complete, so you need 4 players regardless to play, so I didn't really consider that boosting, but there were people that paid people money, Microsoft points back in the day, to help them get the achievement, because some people just really sucked at that. But then we get to Halo Reach, where boosting went skyrocketing. In order to counter people ranking up so fast, they made the max rank take forever with capped out daily XP limits and matchmaking caps and rank caps where you couldn't go up any higher after a certain point. I think it was like Warrant Officer that they for a long time kept everyone capped there just so that they could stop people from trying to boost or grind forever and get up there first, and so it allowed other people to catch up before they allowed other people to go up the ranks. They did end up like 2 times increasing the daily limit of XP you could get in a day, and also they removed the rank cap, so you could go all the way up and even increase the amount of XP you got per match. But the problem was when the game did launch, it was so easy to hit the limit that people AFK spinned and would just do that the entire time. The forums were filled back in the day around launch time with people just complaining about this, that people were just AFK spinning. And they mostly did this in Infection, where it was less likely to get reported since zombie players saw it as a free survivor kill and humans saw it as a free zombie kill, so they didn't care. And then for those that played and boosted, they played Griff Ball, which was the most common to this because people would take advantage of the spawn killing and farm credits that way and even get some accommodations done. But then there was like a lot of methods to farming credits back in the day, that you could search up credit boosting or rank boosting on YouTube, and you could find hundreds of different tutorials out there. There was campaign boosting with rubber bands, matchmaking boosting, like some of them that I mentioned, as well as others. In fact, the matchmaking combination helped increase the number of people team killing for power weapons. Before, people would team kill because they just wanted to get kills with it, because like, oh, I want to get kills with that, sometimes because of achievements back in Halo 3. But when it came to Halo Reach, it was like, no, I need to get kills with that sniper rifle with that rocket launcher, so I'm going to team kill you so that I can get the kills. It increased a lot. I remember that every time I got a sniper rifle, all of a sudden I had at least 2 or 3 teammates team killing me over a sniper rifle. It was just ridiculous, and it just really ruined the game. And in fact, that's one of the few things I liked about Halo 4 was when they removed friendly fire, because Halo Reach taught people how to better team kill, and that was what really pissed me off. They would tell people, you didn't have to full on team kill. Sometimes what people would do is they would shoot your shields off and then make it so you didn't have shields, so you were an easy one-shot headshot. And what they would do is if someone shot you, they would wait until you got killed and they got a free weapon. But something else that they would do is wait till an enemy did like even 1 ounce of damage on you, and then your teammates would beat the crap out of you, so that way it counted as a kill for the enemy and wouldn't count as a team kill, and then they would get your weapon. It was the most annoying shit out there, and people still do this in Halo Reach on the MCC. So unfortunately, it just taught more people how to team kill, because people wanted to get their accommodations complete so they rank up faster. And you're just like, oh, isn't team killing just wonderful? It really was the worst time I ever had team killing besides Halo 5. And if you thought that was bad, if you thought it couldn't get any worse, there was firefight boosting. I got to experience that a lot back in the day when I wanted to play firefight. See, there is this combination for completing firefight matches in a multiplayer matchmaking game without dying. So how do you best avoid dying? Well, hiding. So while 3 people, teammates would be fighting in firefight, you could go into a corner, especially on courtyard. There's an overhead where you can use a jetpack to get into, and you'd be safe and no enemies could get you. In fact, it was still possible to hide in this spot to this day. I even tested it out on MCC, and you can still get in this spot where people would boost. And what was it? One time it got so bad for me back in the day, I was like, man, there's so many enemies, it's so hard to fight. Why am I like feeling like I'm like one person fighting everyone? Maybe my teammates are on the other side of courtyard fighting them. Nope, the 3 of them used a little jetpack glitch, got around the map, and were on the other side of it and just sitting there camped and just wanted me to do all the work. And I said, well, you know what? I'm gonna quit. I'm not gonna, let them boost and just AFK it while I do all the work. So I quit. And you know what happened? They don't get punished, but I get a ban for quitting. A timeout, basically what they would call it. But it was just like, is this serious? So I get punished for quitting, but they get nothing. They get no ban for it. They just have to wait for the timer to run out, which at the end was like maybe 5 minutes, while I get a 15-minute ban by Bungie. So that was really annoying. And again, to reiterate, boosting got so bad in Halo Reach that Bungie tried their best to ban and banned at least an estimated 15,000 accounts. 15,000 accounts for AFK boosting, and yet still AFK boosting was rampant. Bungie had to cave in and just give up and say, okay, we're sorry, it looks like we can't stop the boosting problem. If you do full party boosting, we'll totally allow it. Just don't do anything else. They really did say that. They even have a post that says it, which is just an example of how bad boosting was in Halo Reach back in the day. And again, boosting didn't decrease until they made custom challenges where people use the farming glitch on Oni's sword base, where you just use a target located, and just keep running in it and just save that checkpoint. And then what you do is just keep doing new custom challenges every time when you completed them, and just keep repeating it over and over, and people would easily cap out, increase, even when they increased the XP and everything, you just slingshot right up to Inheritor, and that's what decreased people from boosting. Sadly, that was the way that it actually stopped. There was even a cheat, I believe, where you could end the mission, the very first mission on campaign over and over, and you could actually also boost that way too. And it still exists to this day as well, I think, in MCC. And one thing that's always annoyed me so much that people keep spouting to this day is praising this person called Savior Soul, who was the first inheritor in Halo Reach Legacy to get the max rank. And to this day, even major YouTubers reference this guy as the shining example of what doing a lot of grinding to get the max rank, what hard work actually looks like. That these guys earned it. I still can't believe people say this, because the fact of the matter is that he actually had multiple accounts and he was boosting in free-for-all matches. There was like rumors that he had multiple accounts or multiple people helping him play a day, and then not only that also he had other people helping him. Like people would post up these full party boosting matches that he was in, and would post that his gamer tag and several other people that had similar gamer tags, like Savior Cry and Savior Soul Zero and all these other people, all were in a match with him. Every single one of them had the same exact gamer tag. The guy was a booster, and he would go in 15-0 kill streaks constantly in these matches. So it was clear that he was boosting, but as long as he was not getting caught for it, everyone thought this guy was legitimate. But people called him out on the forums and posted his gamer score that he was in fact a booster. So all these people condemning boosting while praising him are in fact hypocrites. Also, there's some other achievement boosting that also existed in Halo Reach. Some of the DLC achievements, I think from the Defiant map pack, were actually glitched, and you could actually do them in custom games for a short while until they fixed that. But again, yeah, there was still also other things like minor stat boosting, trying to get good KDs as well. Again, Bungie banned 15,000 accounts, 15000, and yet still can stop it. But yeah, people used to boost alt accounts at Rumble Pit to get high KDs as well. There was all sorts of things that people used to do back in the day, and not even banning that many accounts put a dent into the cheating problem, and eventually they just caved in. They went so crazy with the banhammer that they actually they actually were banning legitimate players, and result decreased the people playing Halo Reach in the multiplayer because people were accidentally getting banned. And when 343 took over, they had to fix this because people were getting permabanned, and it was such an issue because the algorithm was so bad. They had to alternate it because they couldn't make that many changes to the algorithm, I guess. So they ended up changing what Bungie originally had, was a first strike was a week, second strike was a month, and a third strike was a permaban, to instead first strike is a day, second strike is a week, and third strike is a month, and continuous violation is just another month ban. Then 343 took the reins and made Halo CEA, which, other than achievement hunting and using glitches that get the achievements done faster, there was no real form of boosting that game because there was no matchmaking. Then Halo 4 comes out, and overall, getting to the max rank was very easy. So when it came to boosting, it was very minimal, but apparently there was some methods that did exist. The ones I found out while researching this, because again, I didn't even know these existed because it was so easy to get to max rank in Halo 4. There were people that were doing partial party and full party boosting on Regicide, where you could boost your achievements and rank up faster. Though I don't see it as that big of a problem, because it was really easy to get to max rank, especially with the Pioneer specialization that allowed you to get more XP per match. But I mean, even I played Halo 4 matchmaking and never saw any boosting, so this is how minimal it was, because it was easy to get to max rank, and the fact that people were boosting is kind of a surprise. But yet, the mountain of complaints against the bolt shot was the bigger problem that people complained about. I don't know if anyone even got banned boosting, but here's the funny part. They did in fact have a banhammer, and from what I recalled, it failed to differentiate between skilled players and AFK players, so it was accidentally banning people. And then on top of that, they were banning, they made the banhammer to ban sexism. Yep, that's right. They really spent their time making a banhammer not to catch boosters, but banning unskilled players by mistake, by thinking they're AFK. Totally A-OK. And also sexism. No, buddy, that crossed the line right there. We have to stop that sexism. That never happened, because all you have to do is press the mute button and block the person if you're really that bothered by them. But of course, that was what they wasted their time with. But again, there was almost no boosting, so it was never really a problem. And then there's Halo MCC. Prior to Reach, which I'll get around to, there was other boosting things out there. There's people that would disconnect their controller or disconnect their Xbox and would win the match every time, and they could get to level 50 easily by doing this. Also, there was a glitch where if you were the host, you could kick people from matchmaking, and also even the circle boosting made a return in Halo 2 Classic matches. Also, with Halo CE now having ranking, which it didn't have before, some people resorted to taking advantage of the spawn killing and the spawn trapping that never was an issue with the original Halo CE because of the fact that there was nothing gained back in the day. But now people take advantage of that, and also there was a lot of team killing and other methods that I talked about in my videos that people would do with the progressive and competitive ranking system just to try and get themselves higher up, and would avoid getting banned. And there was no real gain from quitting or idling back then. So eventually, but when they did, they eventually made quitting not a punishable offense if 50% of your team is already gone, because it was not fair to be subjected to spawn killing. So that was just something that they added. It wasn't added till a year ago, I think, and these were eventually corrected. But I will get back to the Halo MCC part when they added Reach back in. When it came to the mobile games that they created, like Spartan Assault and Spartan Strike, since the games were campaign focused, there wasn't many ways of boosting. There was an XP boosting method someone did post on Halo Spartan Assault, but Halo Spartan Strike, I couldn't find anything from my research. As for bans or any crackdown of this, I don't see any mention of a banhammer being used on anyone because it was just so minimal. Now, Halo Wars 2 was interesting. There were a few exploits in the game to help you boost up. In campaign, there was a way to replay the ending of the first mission over and over so you could keep getting XP, but there was a limit of XP that you could get in campaign overall, so this did die down pretty quickly because people figured out the exploit. At launch, also there was a really bad exploit where you could easily win a match by mass producing Sentinels as Anders and just rushing the base and winning the match without even having to fight this, because the Sentinels were quick at destroying buildings, so you could easily take them down. They eventually nerfed this. I recall it, I still call it boosting. Some people try to say, no, it's part of rushing in real-time strategy games. You just need to know how to counter it. But the thing is, it was brokenly OP. There was no way of countering it. It was so imbalanced that the only way to counter it was to also do Anders and try to be even quicker at destroying the enemy's base, which was just exactly why it was so bad. And in Solo Wars, in 1v1, there was an AFK boosting method where you could just keep destroying your base, and even though you lose, you get XP just for playing the match, which was a lot. So people just took advantage of this exploit. They did eventually fix it, but I don't think anyone got banned. But I definitely recall, because I won a lot of matches just starting a match. It was like 1v1, and then all of a sudden, boom, all of a sudden I won the match in the first 10 seconds. I'm like, really? I was like, okay. Then we get to Halo 5, and man, they made another grindy system, which was way worse than Halo Reach ever was, with microtransactions. They did a better job at making it harder to cheat, at least to get to max, with the max party limit size in most of the game modes, but theoretically, you just gotta set your search to different countries with less population, and it easily fixes that. But there were other issues like buying boosting packs and power weapons through rec packs, so you didn't have to do any manipulations of any cheating on your own. You could just pay to cheat because you could get better gear, and when you get better gear with a full party boosting, it was just so easy to do. You just pay your way to better gear and beat other players, and because they can't get the best gear while you're paying for it, you're already taking advantage of their monetization, and basically they were turning the boosting problem into a monetization to profit from it, thus leading to problems of why modern games just make games grindy to make more people pay for microtransactions, as normal methods take forever. But that didn't stop there. Halo 5 was second, in my opinion, to all the ways that you could boost in Halo games, only second to Halo Reach. Halo Reach had just so many, but mostly the boosting methods were done in Warzone or Warzone Assault matchmaking. People found that XP gain was a lot quicker in matches if you just didn't make them long. If you didn't make them last long, you could do this. So what they did was they get 12-man teams together, and if you were on the defense, you just let the enemies take all three phases with no resistance and end the match quicker. But when attacking, they just put they just didn't play at all and let the enemy win by not even attacking the first objective when they were supposed to be the attackers, and make the match end quicker, which resulted in more XP without even having to play the game. They did probably go for kills, but didn't. They just ignored the objective entirely. When that was fixed, also they made longer matches more rewarding. Players resorted to something like that was even more intoxicating and irritating, and went by the many names like steamrolling parties, or Warzone full party boosting, or core capping, or Warzone farming. This could be done in either Warzone or Warzone Assault, even more popular in Warzone Turbo. Players found that you could be a full 12-man team and get lined up with 12 solo players. So when they would do this, it would get a full 12-man team with mics, then knowing the odds that were in their favor because they'd be fighting solo players, which would be a lot easier. They would take all 3 objectives in regular Warzone and cap them, and then make it so that in Warzone or Warzone Turbo, that the enemy's core was exposed, and that now everyone spawned all the way at the back. They proceeded to spawn kill and spawn trap the enemy team for massive kills and fast XP. On average, you got 3 times the XP with XP boosts on and power weapons. By paying for rec packs, you could spawn and kill all day. And thanks to the design, if you quit, you get punished. So the solo players got to enjoy the great saying of damned if you do, damned if you don't, because if you quit, you risk getting banned, and if you stay, you get spawn killed for the rest of the match, which lasted until the enemy got 1,000 points. So that could be a while if they were fast enough. They knew that they would get lined up with solo players and just keep abusing this over and over. And yet some people tried to say this was legitimate, even though they know that they were killing players and know that they were lining up against solos, so they could be at a disadvantage and even can start killing them before they even were fully spawned in at their base, because of the fact that the spawn points were really bad. So making it a supposedly strategic boosting method that they tried to call it. But regardless, it's still boosting, otherwise found as an illegitimate practice. It got so bad that with Warzone Assault, with people doing stuff like that, that they removed Warzone Assault and is now only something for special events, and spawns were, because of the fact that spawns were so easily manipulated back in the day. And if you were caught boosting, there was like no real punishment. They did try to fix it with a few things, like making it so you can only have 8-man teams in Warzone, and if you want a full 12-man team, you have to play Warzone Warlords. But when it came to Warzone Assault, the way people manipulated it was things like the first phase, they would for phase 1, they'd get close to ending the time cap. They would like wait till the time was almost up and then cap, and then move on to the next one, and they would only cap at the last second while spawn killing the enemies when they were attacking. And then they'd do the vice versa, where when they were defending, they would attack the enemy at their spawn points, kill them all, and then once it was getting close to the match ending, they would back away and let the enemy take it, and then do the same thing. And they would just keep doing this pattern of just spawn killing for the entire time and only back off, so they would capture the 1 point, so they'd move to the next point, so they make the match last longer. They would just keep doing this over and over and over, and they knew that because of that, they would get better gear too, so it would be even easier to spawn kill solo players. They resorted to, again, reducing the player count to only 5 or 6 players in fire teams in order to play Warzone. They eventually did bump it back up to 8 players, but I think if you want to play 12-man teams, you have to play Warzone Warlords, because of the fact that you guys ruined that for those people that steamrolled. But it was too late. The damage was already done. Halo 5 was already had a terrible banhammer as well, which if you lagged out, you got a DNF, and if you got too many DNFs, even if you hadn't played for months, they would give you a ban, because there's no cooldown period between that. And servers back in the day of 2016 were acting up and dropping full parties all the time, so people were getting 2-year bans because of this, and 343 never rectified this, never let you post anything saying, I think I was wrongfully banned. They wouldn't let you do that. And also, the first person that gets a 152, congratulations, was a booster who paid with rec packs. Now we come back to Halo MCC, where they reintroduce Halo Reach, and they now add a progression and unlocking system to the game, and the results were the exact same as Halo Legacy, where the whole progression system, the same problems return. If you remember my video, I said that there were going to be boosting things coming back, just like Classic Reach, and I was not wrong. They did it. They did exactly the same stuff they did. Boosting in Firefight, boosting in Infection, boosting in Griff Ball. Those were the most common areas. Everyone goes, oh no, there was boosting in SWAT 2. It's like, yeah, but it's not as common as it is. Like, if you go in Griff Ball, it's just sweaty boosting, just straight up. And in Halo, in Infection, there's still people that spin around in circles still, even though there's bans out there. People are still rubber banding their controllers. And how does 343 handle this? By doing the exact mistakes as Bungie, if not worse, by going, oh, we're going to be banning people, we're going to be doing even harsher bans and more harsher bans. And it's not working. It's getting even people that didn't even get banned punished, because if they stay in the match while other people are boosting, they risk getting banned. But if they quit, they also get punished for quitting as well and get a timeout. So it was a damned if you quit, damned if you stayed. And these vigilante people saying, oh, we're going to go around reporting people and posting people's gamer tags in a Discord group with no video proof or screenshots and just calling them boosters, getting other people to report them. And in fact, some people didn't even cheat. Some people were posting people's names up there. In fact, I think even one group of Discord people were reporting people. Someone trolled and put popular Halo YouTuber names on there to see if people would report them. It was just that bad of people like just posting names. Again, if you didn't help them boost, they would even boosters themselves would put legitimate players in the list too, try to get them banned. So it was just like, it was a bully tactic, and it did not fucking solve the problem. And yet now 343 has to resort to submitting a complaint on their support page if you accidentally got banned and didn't actually cheat, which they're manually reviewing. Again, they didn't do this for Halo 5 when their glitchy servers were crashing, even though that they knew that they were wrongfully banning people. And they tried to even at some point even blame some of us for it, saying, oh no, it was your guys' fault. And I go, nope, see these server packets? They're showing that I'm actually doing just fine. It's not my connection, it's your guys' servers. But of course, they kept trying to avoid that and tried to say that, oh no, I was the one boosting, even when it was in fact their game was actually lagging and dropping people out of the matches. The thing is, people that already got to the max rank in the MCC now, or for at least the season, they all are boosters. Most of them are. And even if they get banned, what do they get? They get banned for like a month, which is not nothing. By then, the next season comes out. And again, they could have fixed this by coming out with an easier system that would have actually resolved this. Again, it's 0 points, 0 XP, never play the objective. They get 0 XP at the end of the match and just kick them out. And if you see any repeated movements with controller or mouse, again, kick them out. And then they have to search it again. And the only thing you can do is stop the partial party boosting. As for full party boosting, you're just going to have to let it happen. You're eventually going to, one way or another, 343, because even Bungie couldn't stop them. And it's just going to keep continuing. And people go, oh, the problem's fixed. And I'm like, I have video proof here that the problem is not fixed. People are still doing it. It's just the player count has dropped. That's the only difference. And the fact is, most people are boosting because they want the armor. They don't give a crap about the progression ranking system. People say, no, that's not true. And I go, okay, separate the armors and have them earned a different way than the progression system. And I guarantee you who's going to play what they're going to be playing it more, the armor or the progression system. They go, no, you can't do that. The armors need to be connected to the progression ranking system. It's the only way I'm going to play. There's just some people that are so selfish that they say that the only way they're going to play is if 343 makes it grindy. That's the only way. And there's just some people that are absolutely selfish that way, and they just see it as it has to be catered around them. And even with all this massive banning of boosters, it has just never solved the problem. And I really hope to God that they fix their whatever progression system they're going to do for Halo Infinite, and actually learn from this for Halo Infinite, or else this problem is just going to occur day one for Halo Infinite with matchmaking, which is probably why I'm going to avoid matchmaking for the first week or so, because of the fact that when Halo Infinite does drop, it's just going to be boosting central if this is a problem. And yeah, so I'm just going to avoid the matchmaking entirely. And there's also a way to please the grinders without having to ruin it for everyone else. In fact, DICE did something like this for Battlefront 2017, because you only need to get to rank 40 in order to be completely done with unlocking all the cards and maxing them out. But people were like, but I want to go higher. And so what do? They just make a rank 1000. There's nothing else you earn, just more ranks, that's it. And they just look shinier. And yet, at the same time, grinders are happy with it, while at the same time, there are people that just need to get to rank 40 and that's it. So why not in Halo Infinite do the same thing? Have have an infinite progression system where you can just keep going up endlessly. You just make a certain rank where it's called the Mantle of Responsibility. Once you get to that, that means you have everything unlocked, and by then, and then just make after that MOR or Mantle of Responsibility level 2, level 3, level 4, and just keep going on, and just make it infinite, and you just keep going up as much as you want. That way you keep the grinders happy, while at the same time you don't force people to be subjected to that. And also, why not make two for like Halo Infinite? Why not make like two different methods of unlocking armors, both what Halo 3 fans like and Halo Reach fans like, but without allowing the easy exploitable system of XP. Halo 3 make it skill based. In order to unlock certain armors, you have to do a great difficult feat in order to do that, whereas there's going to be the more grindier method of just having to earn get a certain amount of X amount of whatever it is in order to unlock an armor. So say, for example, there's an armor called Aviator. In order to unlock it, you need to get either the grindy method of 100 air kills, or B, you need the skill way where you have to hijack the vehicle, hijack an air vehicle in midair. Two different methods, and if you unlock it, you get two different variants. This was something that me and another person talked about back and forth, because I just wanted just the Halo 3 system, but he was arguing there could be some fun things with the Halo Reach system. But overall, we came to this discussion. It was really fun because we came down to it and said like two different variants of two different armors for each armor, and you earn it through either a grind method or a skill method. But either way, at the end of the day, it's not through an XP system where all you have to do is just show up and you get a participation award for just playing the game. You can't do that. You can't just play the same mode over and over and over to boost XP. There might be special events where it's like all banshees or something like that, and you get a lot of kills doing that and help get that armor. But overall, you can't just get it just by playing the same matches. You can't keep playing Griffball over and over. You can't just spawn kill over and over. You can't just spin around circles over and over. You can't do that stuff, because what's going to end up happening is you're not going to make any progress on unlocking any new armor. So they could do that as a way to unlock armor and keep it completely separated from the progression system that will be just completely something separate. I think it would be completely fair to do something like that, and it would completely make sense. I know that they would also argue, but where's the microtransactions? Because obviously there's going to be people that pay microtransactions, and why not just make a third variant of every armor, and that's the paid version. And again, it has a different variant. It doesn't have the cool variant. And if you want to, you can get what the cool part is, by having two different variants of the grind and the skill or skill based, you can actually make it so that you have two sets of armors that you can unlock it. So so say for example they put Achilles back in there, that you can unlock two different types of Achilles, not just one. So it would make it pretty interesting to unlock it through two different methods. But again, that would just be something that would be drastically an improvement to the game by doing something like that. Because the whole thing of trying to make it, oh, you have to grind every day and that's the only way you unlock stuff, and people going, oh, but that's what keeps the population. Again, what happens to Halo Reach on Steam? It died. So clearly, a grindy progression system isn't what solves the problem. Getting rid of that grindy progression system for either two different ways of unlocking armors and just making a regular progression system, while as making a monetization system on the side of like different cosmetic armors, or different variants of that armor, I think that would be a better way of going about it, so that you provide different methods of people unlocking it, while making it so if you want to unlock it through just paying for it, you still have to reach a level at least through the progression system in order to get it. So you can either go the super grindy, just a lengthy challenge, or a skill based, which to me I think that's a pretty great idea. Either pay for that Aviator armor and you get one variant, but you still have to get to level 10 or something, or you have to reach or you have to hijack an air vehicle, or you have to get 100 Banshee kills. I still see that as a great thing. Anyways, that's just my take on like quality of life changes that could also improve like things that focus on like maps, modes, vehicles, armors, weapons, and overall more content with mods, foraging, and giving far more variants for us to keep playing. It's not just the progression system that keeps us playing. For me, if I already had everything unlocked on Halo Reach MCC right now, I would not be playing the matchmaking. I would be playing custom games right now with people right now. But instead, I'm doing this because I'm dictated to have to do this. What would really be awesome, cool as well, is be able to have all the armors unlocked in Forge and in custom games, so that only matchmaking you need to unlock them in order to play them, but you can just have fun in custom games and just be ridiculous, make funny machinimas, and just have fun with it. Because really, I would love to do that. I really think it'd be fun to mess around with the cosmetics in custom games. And really, because it is custom games, why does it matter? That's my opinion on it, because I really don't see any justification for having to block it when it's only in custom games. Yeah, because I really would rather right now play Halo Reach custom games with my haunted helmet and my inclement weather than be forced to play a lazy unlock system that I have to grind, do a whole grind fest Skinner box style just to unlock stuff. I rather have full control of my cosmetics, but I feel like I'm just forced to do this mindless chore that is not fun, that Halo Reach, Halo 5, and now Halo MCC, that I have no fun with it, because this is literally, again, this is what causes the boosting problem. Grindy fest Skinner box game design progression systems are what create boosters. They're a byproduct of this, and that's what the point of this video is. I know it's long, but I also want to make this video grindy too, just to give you an example of how annoying it is just to get to the end of something. And just imagine you're gonna have again, it took 11 million XP to get to Halo Reach MCC max rank. Wait till the other seasons come out, because you have to get 175 million XP. But again, my idea gets rid of the entire grind fest thing and gets rid of AFK boosting and several other forms of boosting. It's not going to entirely get rid of all forms of boosting, but it will definitely reduce boosting drastically by making those kind of 3 methods where you have to do it one way or the other. But it's still, you can't just sit there and just spin around circles. You won't get anything out of it. Anyways, that's my take on the subject of the controversy, the boosting, and this whole situation, why it's just rised up in Halo MCC, and how they could actually fix it and address it and get this stuff resolved. I don't think overall they can do much, because they said again that they're not going to change the Halo MCC ranking system that much, other than the fact that they made it so you can choose the tiers that you want to unlock. Other than that, not much is going to get changed. But again, that's just the situation we have because of the fact that they went down this route, and hopefully Infinite they change that. But also, I did ask the community which games were the most annoying with the boosting problem, and did a little poll. I just want to see what everyone's opinion was on that. Anyways, I'm going to wrap the video up here. It's now over 1 hour, so anyways, hope you guys enjoy it. I do understand if you guys were pretty overwhelmed with all the stuff that I had to say, but I wanted to cover boosting fully, where it started from, how there were so many different methods of boosting in each Halo game, and why that boosting is just an effect, not a cause, and that the grindy progression system is what creates boosters, and by taking that away with the solution that I presented could solve that boosting problem. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe, and write down below your comments about it if you liked it, disliked it, or you just want to have a discussion, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Wow.